Bride discovers groom's shocking confession, then turned the wedding into revenge. "Oh my God, no. Please don't let this be true," Maya whispered as she stood in front of the ornate mirror in the church's bridal suite, her hands trembling as she held her phone. The stunning white wedding dress that had taken months to choose now felt like a Joker's costume for a play she no longer wanted to perform in. Everything had been perfect just a moment ago. Just 30 minutes before she was supposed to walk down the aisle, her entire world had crumbled with a single video message. The message was from Elena, David's ex-girlfriend. The lady who David always explained to her was crazy and wicked. He always said Elena was obsessed with him, and so she always tried to ruin their relationship, and so anytime Maya saw Elena, she would ignore and avoid her. But today, she couldn't. She just had to know what Elena wanted to say, and what Maya saw made her stomach drop. Elena's face appeared on the screen, nervous but determined. "Maya, I know this is your wedding day, but I couldn't let you marry him without knowing the truth. David has a dark secret almost no one knows. Yes, I'm his ex, but not an ex-girlfriend. I was his childhood friend, but when the deaths started, I started to investigate him." Maya froze. Deaths? Elena wasn't an ex-girlfriend, but an ex-friend? She took a deep breath and continued to watch. He's done this before to other wealthy women. Rebecca Hamilton, Charlotte Morrison, Amanda Foster. Maya, they're all dead or missing, and David walked away with everything. Elena's voice shook as she continued. He targets successful women, makes them fall in love, marries them, takes their assets, and then... Maya, I found Rebecca's journal. She wrote about how David became violent when she discovered his plan. The police ruled it a suicide, but Rebecca was terrified of heights. She would never have jumped from that balcony. Charlotte is in a coma from a pill overdose just after hearing she inherited her father's company. Amanda supposedly drowned after David went on a vacation with her to Italy. The video showed Elena holding up photographs and documents. David called you his final score in these text messages. He said your family's restaurant chain would set him up for life, and after that he'd retire to somewhere with no extradition laws. Maya, you're in danger. Maya's blood ran cold as Elena revealed the full scope of David's operation. He wasn't just a gold digger. He was a predator who had perfected the art of psychological manipulation and financial murder, and she was supposed to be his last victim. Sarah, her maid of honor and best friend since university, burst through the door with her usual energy, but stopped immediately when she saw Maya's face. "Ah, Maya, what's wrong? You look terrified." Without a word, Maya handed her the phone. Sarah's expression shifted from concern to horror as she watched the video. "Oh my God, Maya, we need to call the police right now. Forget the wedding. We need to get you out of here." But Maya held up her hand, and something had changed in her eyes. The fear was still there, but it was now mixed with something else. Cold determination. "No, Sarah. If we run now, he'll just disappear and find another victim. Elena spent months gathering this evidence. We're going to end this today, but we need to be smart about it." Maya had always been the type of person who planned ahead, who thought things through. It's what made her so successful as a marketing executive, and now those same skills were about to save her life, and potentially other women's lives too. She quickly outlined her plan to Sarah, who went from worried to terrified to grimly determined. "Are you absolutely sure about this?" Sarah asked. "If he's as dangerous as Elena says." "He picked the wrong woman for his final score," Maya replied, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I'm not going to be another Rebecca Hamilton. It ends today." The church was filled with 200 guests, all dressed in their finest clothes, all believing they were about to witness a beautiful union between two people in love. David stood at the altar in his perfectly tailored tuxedo, checking his watch and smoothing his hair. He looked confident, even excited, completely unaware that his carefully constructed facade was about to crumble forever. What David didn't know was that Maya had made a crucial phone call before walking down the aisle. Detective John was positioned discreetly at the back of the church with backup officers, and Elena had provided them with everything she'd discovered about David's previous victims. Maya's father took her arm as the wedding march began to play. "You look pale, sweetheart," he whispered. "Wedding nerves?" "Something like that, Dad. Maya replied, thinking about how she was about to expose a killer in front of her family and friends. As she walked down the aisle, Maya felt every eye on her, but more importantly, she felt David's eyes. The same eyes that had looked at Rebecca, Charlotte, and Amanda with false love while planning their deaths. But this time would be different. This time, the predator had chosen prey that could fight back. The pastor began the ceremony with the traditional words about love, commitment, and honesty. Maya had to suppress a bitter laugh at the irony. When it came time for the vows, David went first, speaking about how Maya had changed his life and how he promised to love and cherish her forever. The words that might have once made her heart sore now sounded like a death sentence delivered with a smile. Then it was Maya's turn. The pastor looked at her expectantly, and the entire congregation fell silent. Maya, do you take David to be your lawfully wedded husband? Maya looked directly at David, seeing the anticipation in his eyes, the slight smile on his lips as he prepared to claim what he thought would be his final victim. Before I answer that question, she said, her voice carrying clearly through the church, I need to share something important with everyone here today, especially about the women David has loved before me. A murmur rippled through the crowd. David's face began to change, confidence shifting to confusion and then to the first hint of something darker. Maya, what are you doing? He whispered, and for the first time she heard a threatening edge in his voice. I'm making sure you never hurt another woman again, David. Maya reached into her bouquet and pulled out her phone. Sarah, following their plan perfectly, had already connected it to the church's audiovisual system. Ladies and gentlemen, Maya announced, I want you to meet my fiancé's previous girlfriends. Rebecca Hamilton, who allegedly jumped from a balcony after David inherited her family's hotel business. Charlotte Morrison, who supposedly overdosed just weeks after making David the beneficiary of her trust fund. And Amanda Foster, who mysteriously drowned during their honeymoon, leaving David with access to her tech company. She pressed play, and Alina's video filled the large screen at the front of the church. The congregation watched in stunned horror as Alina laid out the evidence of David's pattern. The identical approach, the quick engagements, the mysterious deaths, and the millions he'd stolen. David's entire demeanor changed in an instant. The charming mask slipped away, revealing something cold and dangerous underneath. You stupid, stupid girl, he hissed, loud enough for the front rows to hear. You have no idea what you've just done. I know exactly what I've done, Maya said firmly. I've stopped a killer. The church erupted in shocked gasps and panicked murmurs. Some guests started moving toward the exits, sensing the shift in atmosphere. David's hands were shaking now, but not with nerves, with rage. Do you think this is over? David snarled, his voice carrying across the silent church. Do you think exposing me here changes anything? I've been planning this for months, Maya. I know everything about you, your family, where you live, where you work. If I can't have what's yours, then no one can. He reached into his jacket, and Maya's heart stopped as she saw the glint of metal. But she had prepared for this moment, knowing that cornering a predator would make him most dangerous. David, she said calmly, even as screams erupted from the congregation, I want you to look at the back of the church. David spun around to see Detective John and 3 uniformed officers moving down the aisle, their weapons drawn. David Wells, you're under arrest for fraud, conspiracy, and suspicion of murder in the deaths of Rebecca Hamilton, Charlotte Morrison, and Amanda Foster. The blade fell from David's shaking hand as he realized he was surrounded. His face contorted with fury as he looked back at Maya. This isn't possible. You're just a naive little rich girl. How did you? I'm a lot smarter than the women you chose before, Maya interrupted. And unlike them, I had Elena helping me. She's been investigating you for months, David. Every one of your victims had family and friends who never believed the official stories. Elena brought us all together. As the officers handcuffed David, he turned to Maya with a look of pure hatred. I'll get out, Maya, and when I do, I'll finish what I started. You and your family. No, you won't, Detective John said firmly as he read David his rights. We have enough evidence to put you away for the rest of your life. The families of your victims deserve justice, and they're finally going to get it. As David was led away in handcuffs, still screaming threats and profanities, Maya finally allowed herself to breathe. The church was in chaos, with guests crying, calling loved ones, and trying to process what they'd witnessed. But Maya felt only relief and a fierce sense of pride. Sarah rushed to her side, pulling her into a tight hug. Maya, you were incredible. You saved yourself and who knows how many future victims. I couldn't have done it without Elena and all of you, Maya replied, watching as David disappeared through the church doors. He thought he was so smart, but he made one crucial mistake. What's that? He chose a woman who fights back. 6 months later, Maya sat in the courthouse as the judge sentenced David Wells to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The families of Rebecca, Charlotte, and Amanda were finally getting justice. Elena sat beside Maya, having become a close friend through their shared mission to stop David. Any regrets? Elena asked as they walked out of the courthouse together. Maya smiled, thinking about how much her life had changed. She'd started her own security consulting firm, helping other women recognize and escape dangerous relationships. The experience had shown her a strength she never knew she possessed. Only one regret, Maya said. I regret that it took me so long to trust my instincts, but I'll never make that mistake again. The lesson in Maya's story was profound. Trust your instincts when something feels wrong, no matter how perfect someone seems on the surface. Evil often wears a charming mask, but it can't hide forever from someone who's paying attention. Maya's courage to expose David not only saved her own life, but brought justice to his previous victims and prevented future tragedies. Sometimes the most dangerous people are those who seem the most trustworthy. But when faced with true evil, ordinary people can find extraordinary courage. Maya's wedding day didn't end with the marriage she planned, but it began a mission that would save countless lives and bring a killer to justice. The end. If you like this story, you will love this one. The Shucks That Destroyed My Life is a story of how one night of passion can destroy everything you've built. Like this video if Maya inspired you, subscribe for more revenge stories, and comment below. Would you have exposed David the same way? Click the next video now.